Hey, what's up guys? Sloth King here. Today I'm going to show you how to change your oil. So it's actually easier than you think, and it's pretty cost effective after you invest in some of the tools, and then you do it like, I don't know, like 4 oil changes, you'll have your tools paid for. So let me just run over a couple things that you are going to need. A few are optional, just work on these guidelines. So let's get into it. All right, I'm doing an oil change on my 4Runner, and I have plenty of clearance to crawl under there and then put my oil pan down there. But if you have a car that's a little bit lower, you're probably going to need some ramps, or you're going to need a jack and some jack stands. And if you don't know how to jack up your vehicle, check out this video that I'm going to link above. Anyways, let's go over what you're going to need, and then let me show you how easy it is. So first things first, you're going to need oil. Whatever your car calls for, get it. I'm going with the Mobil 1 high mileage because I have over 75,000 miles on it. Yeah, sure, it's not high mileage, but I'm using it for the seal conditioners. And you're gonna wanna look up the quantity that your car needs. You're gonna need a drain pan to catch the oil, some rags, some brake parts cleaner to clean some things up. You're gonna want some gloves. You're going to need an oil filter. I use an OEM Toyota oil filter. If you get it at the dealer, it's really cheap. It's like $5 per filter compared to other stores, which is like $7 to $9. You're going to need a basic socket set or some wrenches. If your oil filter is stuck on, you're going to need a oil filter tool. For your drain plug, you're going to need a new gasket. These are very cheap. You can pick them up at your dealer for like a couple quarters or something like that. I got a whole pack. It's really good to have on hand. I change it out every single oil change. You're gonna need a torque wrench. That way you can torque down the oil drain bolt. If not, then you can just tighten it hand tight and then go a quarter turn. But we're doing it by the book today, so follow along. I also have an optional water bottle, which I will show you what this is for momentarily. This does not apply to all applications, but it comes in a pinch. And I almost forgot to mention, you will need a funnel and a bin to throw your used oil in. Not just the drain pan, or you can use your old oil bottles to put your old oil in. Either or, just somewhere that way you can bring it to the auto parts store and recycle it. Anyways, this is all we're gonna need, so let's jump right into it. All right, first things first, I like to have a couple of rags on hand when we're going under here. It gets messy. I already know that my drain bolt is either a 14 millimeter or 15. So let's slide underneath here. All right, go ahead and line up your pan. If you look under here, it's actually kind of hard with my skid plate under, but if you go back, you're going to see your transmission back there, which has its own separate pan, and there's a little cutout here on the 4Runner, which you can see the, oh wow, you really can't see it. Let me grab a light. All right, now that we have some light, if you look under here, you're going to see your oil pan, and that is what we are going to loosen up. All right, so easy as just loosening this up. And then get ready, it's going to make a mess. That's why we have our rags down here. And boom. All right, we're just gonna let that drain for a little bit. And then while that drains, we're gonna take off our oil filter. All right, next we're going to take off our oil filter. On my 4Runner, it is actually easily located up in the engine bay. Sometimes you will find it on other cars by your exhaust manifold or on the side of your engine. Each car is going to be different, so just check out wherever it's located. So if it's not too difficult to get off, you can do it by hand, but if it got over tightened like I might have done, you have to use this tool, which you put it on your oil filter. You're going to get a ratchet with an extension on it, And then you're just gonna use this to loosen it. Oh wow, I put that on really tight. All right, now I can get that off by hand. So this is where my water bottle comes in. See this little hole right down here? Well, there's a little tube that comes off underneath it that catches the oil that comes out. So you can actually put a hose on it and then bring it all the way down to your drain pan, or you can use a water bottle and catch most of the oil. So I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna place it right under here, and I will actually get a shot for you guys. See right down here? If you follow the housing down, you'll feel like a little spout. And then I just have my water bottle right there. All right, let's go loosen it the rest of the way. You're gonna let some of the oil drain out before removing the filter. Put her upside down to avoid any spills. And then now we're gonna take a couple rags and then just wipe out the excess oil that's in here. And that's looking good. And that's how much oil I got. All right, so this next part, a lot of people will say you don't need to do it, but for new oil filters, I like putting some oil inside of it. That way it really prevents how long the car will be on a dry startup for, because oil does have to go through this, flow through, and start lubricating the engine. So it can be anywhere from 2 seconds to 10 seconds, just depends. And if you already put some oil in it, not to the point where it's like overflowing, it'd be fine. And also what's nice about the OE Toyota filters is that the gaskets come pre-lubed. If your gasket's not lubed, you can take some oil and rub it around the seal and you'll be good to go. Just a little bit of oil. Came up a little bit, but all the pleats are soaking it up, and I will run it around like that. That way the sides of the pleats can catch some of the oil. And can you see in there? You can see a little bit of oil. It's not a whole lot. So if we're quick about this, we're not going to spill any oil. Just dump it over and make sure that it threads on nice and easy. If you're having to sit there and really crank down trying to tighten it on, it's getting cross-threaded. Don't do that. See, now we're hand tight. We're gonna turn it just a little bit, and then boom, that's as tight as you want to go. Our oil filter's changed. Now we can go underneath the car, get our drain plug, and then put a new gasket on it and tighten it down. So let's go do that. All right, I'm gonna show you this real quick. You see your drain plug? See how shiny that is? Usually it's not that shiny, so gotta make sure that we take off the old seal, gasket, whatever you wanna call it. Sometimes these will stick to the oil pan itself, so make sure you double check and take it off, because if you don't, it can cause a leak. Here's our new one. Pop it on, and then now let's throw it in. You see how there's like barely any oil dripping out? That is perfect. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and torque down our drain bolt. On my 2008 V6 4Runner, it is 30 foot-pounds to tighten it down. Always make sure you look up what your manufacturer recommends for a torque setting and then follow that. If you don't have a torque wrench, you can tighten it hand tight and then turn it a quarter turn. no more than that. We do not want to strip this out. So let me go grab my torque wrench and let's torque it down. All right, got my torque wrench. There we go. You hear that faint click? Since it's a low torque, it's going to be really easy to miss, but you will hear that click. And we are tight. Now let's go fill up the oil. And while we're filling up the oil, we can just put our old oil filter in here. That way it can drain out. We're back in the engine bay. As you will see, this is your oil fill area. And if you're ever wondering what kind of oil you need, it says it right on your oil cap, 5W30. Now, my 4Runner, it takes a little over 5 quarts. So I'm gonna put 5 in, and then we'll go from there. And then you can check your owner's manual, and it will tell you how much oil your vehicle takes.
One eternity later.
And here's the 5th one. All right, let's go start it, let it run, and then check our oil level. I like to let it run for about 10 seconds, let the oil cycle through the whole entire system, and then shut it off, wait a few minutes, and then we can check it. And that was my ratchet that fell off. Oh, I'm so glad it did not fall into that bucket. That would have been a pain to clean. All right, and we don't have any leaks. So always check that too, right when you're filling it up. All right, and we're not gonna check the oil level as soon as we turn off the engine. We're going to let all the oil drain back down into the pan. That way we can get an accurate reading of how much oil we have in there. So while we're waiting for that, we're gonna clean up our mess. So put your old oil in your recyclable container, put your filter back inside the box. The auto parts store will take those and recycle them for you, and then just clean up everything else. And by the time you're done with that, you can check your oil level and see how accurate it is. So let me do that, and we will see how much oil we have in there. Sweet, I did not spill a drop. And this is where your brake parts cleaner comes in. Use a couple of rags, wipe out the oil, spray some brake parts cleaner in there, wipe it out about 2 or 3 times. That way you don't have any oily mess, and you can store this in your shed or whatever. You don't have to worry about getting oil everywhere. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'll be back. All right, so next we're gonna find our dipstick. Now it will say like engine oil on it, like mine does, right on the side, or it will have like a picture of like a little oil jug on it. So that will be an indicator. First thing you're gonna do, you're gonna take it out, you're gonna immediately wipe it. First wipe does not count. It will have a bunch of splatter on it. Second one, we're gonna put that in there, take it out, and then let's check that level. See those dots? Hopefully you can see it in between. It's really hard to see the oil on camera, but I'm really close to that top dot, which means I'm about 1/4 of a quart away. Let's check one more time. All right, yeah, I'm like right there on my oil level, which if you see those two dots, if your oil is down on that bottom dot right here, from that dot to that dot, that is 1 quart. From that dot to halfway, that is half a quart. This is a 1 quart indicator. So if your oil level is down here and you want it to be up to this top dot, get 1 quart. So I just need to put a little bit more in there and then I am good to go. And I just want to touch on one more thing. If you want to keep track of your oil or your mileage that you've done your oil change at, you can put it on one of your trip. Like I use trip B, and I do not reset that until I change my oil. So I have 3,500 miles on it. So I'm going to reset it, and I will start from 0. Boom, there we go. Or you can write it down. You can be old school about it. You can have a sticker right up here. All right, guys, and that is pretty much it. That sums up how to change your oil. Now, if you have a maintenance light on, you can go ahead and reset it, which I have a video. If you have a 4th gen 4Runner, 2003 to 2008/9, I have a short that you can check out on how to reset the maintenance light. If you don't, well, you have to look up whatever car you have to know how to reset it. But pretty much, I change my oil every 3,000 miles. You should do the same thing. Just follow whatever your manufacturer recommends, unless it's 10,000 miles. If they say change it in 10,000 miles, do half of that. That will cause premature wear on your rings, so your rings are going to get clogged up with dirty oil. But anyway, yeah, that's just what I've seen from a bunch of different mechanics, especially the car care nut. You can find his channel on YouTube. He talks all about it and all about the Toyotas that recommend 10,000 mile oil changes. Don't do those. It's just a marketing thing. Anyway, you can do 5,000 miles. That'll be totally fine. Or whatever you want to do. It's up to you. You don't have to follow my advice. You do you. But anyways, I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe to see more videos like these, and comment below if this is your first time changing your oil. I want to know how it went. I'll catch you guys on the next ride.